Hi. Just the other day, there was a young lady, I want to say she was about 16 or 17. She came up to me to compliment the way I like to dress. And by no means is this video intended to talk about the way I dress at all. But just that compliment and some things that she said got me thinking about the whole subject of women, young ladies dressing, and some of the things that I consider when I get dressed every morning. I wanted to share that with you because honestly, our fashion industry is really destroying our women, really destroying our young girls, even the little girls, the little ones. I go shopping for my daughters, and it's amazing that I can go to the 7-year-olds section and see a blouse that I would probably wear. That shouldn't be right. You should be able to distinguish a little girl's shirt from a woman's blouse. So I just wanted to talk about, I don't know, what I think, what I know based on what I've learned throughout the years about a woman when it comes to getting dressed, when it comes to choosing your clothes. You know, a lot of times a woman would say, well, if you got it, flaunt it. And so that's when a lot of women, young ladies, will wear really short skirts, will wear really tight pants, short shirts, and try to show as much as possible. Some girls will just hit that line that, is that underwear or is that actual shorts? Is that a bra or is that a shirt? So, you know, that's troubling. That's troubling because when you leave your house dressed like that, you're actually communicating a price on yourself, how much you cost. And then the question also comes up for some of us is, what kind of profession is this person in or trying to portray? I think you know where I'm going with that. You know, are you working at something that might involve the streets and walking? So I think that, first of all, I know for a fact that all of us women have a price, okay? I don't know if you knew that or not, but we all have a price. And that price was communicated to us by one man. And this man paid a heavy price for you, paid a heavy price for me, for everyone. He left his profession as the king of the universe, as sitting on the throne in all of his glory and all of his power and all of his might. And the Bible says that he paid for us. He redeemed us. And he paid for us with his own life. He paid for us with his blood. He shed his own blood, leaving his throne, leaving his crown to come down to earth and die for us. So what does that say about how much we cost in his eyes? The God of our universe, the Lord, our Savior, how much we cost as women, as young ladies? A lot, because he gave his life. Now look at all of those people that you might attract by the way you dress, all those boys, all those men, and ask yourself, you know, would this person be willing to give his life for me? Would this person be willing to value me just as much as Jesus values me, just as much as Jesus gave to buy me, to purchase me? I don't know about you, but I consider myself with a high price, not because I look a certain way, but because of the price that Jesus paid when he died on the cross for me. And that helps my self-esteem. It's not about me walking out and showing a little cleavage or showing all of my curves. And that helps my self-esteem for some reason, because a lot of women do that. In order to up your self-esteem, in order to feel good about yourself, you need people to stare. You need other women to be jealous. You need compliments. You need male attention. And you get that, probably. However, just think about it for a minute. When a guy looks at you, he doesn't look at you at the price, who you really are, your personality, your character, your talents, your gifts. All he sees is whatever area or part of your body that you're flaunting at that moment. So whether if it's cleavage, whether if it's tight pants, whether if it's a short skirt, that's all they see. They don't see you as a person. They see you as that part that you are showing, and it's helping satisfy them in a certain way. So it even has nothing to do with you. You know, I understand a lot of times women will do this, or young ladies will do this because, you know, one, you weren't guided. You know, I know a lot of girls that say, well, my mom dresses like that. She lets me leave the house like this. Well, I'm hoping that with this video, you'll be able to make an informed decision when you go into your closet and choose your clothing as to how much, what's the price tag you're going to show when you walk out. You know, are you going to be showing, hey, I'm from the Dollar Tree? Or are you going to show, my price is so high that a man came down from heaven to die for me? So what am I saying with all of this? You no longer, with this information, you no longer have that excuse to hide behind mommy's tight pants or mommy's mini skirt. You know, if anything, show mom this video and let her decide for herself so she can make an informed decision on herself. Because a lot of women, a lot of girls do this because there's a void, there's a space. Nobody told you that there was a high price paid for you, and you are valuable and you are beautiful, and every single curve, every single part of your beautiful body, I don't care who you are, how tall you are, how much you weigh, every single part of your beautiful body should be cherished, should be loved, should be respected by that one man that is going to pay the price of saying, here is this ring, and I am going to devote the rest of my life to taking care and protecting that body and protecting that mind, protecting that spirit, protecting that personality, that character, and those gifts. It's not just about, ooh, that body part that you're showing me right now is hot. It's not about that. So you could either be that person that raises that question out in the street, in school, at work of, what kind of profession is she in? You know, I see these young ladies that they find it really, what's the word? Fun and cool to go from boyfriend to boyfriend to boyfriend. Well, stop and think for a minute about the type of woman that goes from guy to guy to guy to guy. What type of woman is that? So, and I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit blunt, but I'm trying to help you understand that you have a price. And you know what? You are beautiful and you have things to flaunt. And God created you with those curves, and God created you with that beauty. Again, I don't care how tall or short you are. I don't care how much you weigh, how thin or how plump you are. I'm not talking about that. God gave all women a certain unique beauty. You're like flowers. There's not one that's completely exactly the same. We're all different. And he gave us that beauty, and he gave us those curves, and he gave us that ability to be sexy for that one man who's going to commit to you as a whole person, as a woman created by God, to respect you, to love you, to sacrifice now and saying, I am no longer going to look at another girl. I'm no longer going to look at another woman. I am going to devote and dedicate my eyes, my mind, my soul, my body, my emotions to you, and I am going to take care of you, all of you. It's not just about that one body part that you care about flaunting. Taking care of all of you, your mind, your heart, your spirit. That's the kind of man that you want to be sexy for. That's the kind of guy that you want to allow to see you after he's put that ring on your finger and has said, I love all of you. It's not just about your body parts. And I guarantee you that those guys who are staring at that cleavage that you're allowing everybody to stare at, so you can't blame the guys for being perverts because you're throwing it out there. You're throwing out that piece of meat. Somebody's going to want to come and eat. So come on, let's start viewing ourselves the way God views us. He sent his son to die for you. No, I don't think there is a price more expensive than somebody dying for you. I don't think there's beyond that, giving their own life for you. That's saying that you are expensive and you need to stop acting cheap. You need to stop acting like, oh, yeah, you want to see this? You want to see that? Check this out. Because the celebrities are wearing this. Well, guess what? I don't care how much money they're making. They're cheap. And they're putting themselves out as cheap. And if you follow their life turns into a hot mess disaster because of the way they present themselves. They don't have respect for themselves. They don't realize that Jesus came and died for them as well. Maybe nobody's told them, or maybe they're just not interested in listening. So I'm calling out to all of the women and all of the young girls who are willing to listen and willing to consider before you go into your closet and really think about, when I put this clothes on, when I put this blouse on, this dress on, do I look expensive or do I look cheap? I'm not talking about the price of clothing. There's some very reasonably priced clothes. I don't wear expensive clothing. And again, I'm not asking if you like how I dress or not. I'm kind of weird in that sense. But there's one thing that I do consider is there is a line that I draw where I am not going to show off certain attributes and certain qualities, physical qualities that I have that is only for the eyes of my husband. Because he put down that price and said that he's going to love all of me from head to toe, inside and out. It's not just about my physical, and it's not about, okay, I've enjoyed you for a minute. You were beautiful, you were hot, but now I'm going on to the next. And the boys and the guys out there that you attract because of what you're showing off, that's the exact mentality they have. Once they've had a little fun with you, they're going to look for somebody else. So please, stop acting cheap. Maybe you didn't even know this. So I'm telling you this right now. You are not cheap. You are expensive. You are loved by God. You were created by Him. And He has that one young man out there, that man out there that is going to treasure and value and treat you as that expensive gift that God has given him. But you have to be patient. And in the meantime, you need to let the world around you know, whether it's at work, whether it's at school, whether it's at church, because this is a big problem in church as well. Women just come dressed however they want, showing off whatever they want, and then get angry if somebody makes a comment. You need to put that price. You need to let everybody know, you know what, I value this body. I value what I have. And no, you're not allowed to see it. There's only one man that is going to be given that privilege and that honor to see it, and that man better pay that price of commitment and love and respect. So I'm just telling you, you're not cheap. So don't present yourself as cheap. Don't present yourself as a woman in that profession, if you know what I mean, because you weren't created to be that woman. And if there's something deep inside of you, something missing inside of you, and you feel like, well, that's the only way I can get attention, that's the only way I can get love, then I encourage you to talk to somebody about it. I encourage you because there is healing for you, and that's not the way to go. And some of you have already been down that path, and you keep making the same mistake over and over and over again with this guy, with that guy, with getting his attention and that attention. And you keep ending up in square one, like, okay, let's start this all over again so I could feel good about myself for a little bit, and then you end up miserable about yourself again. So I encourage you to look for help. I encourage you to talk to someone, a youth leader, a pastor, a counselor, about getting healing inside of your heart, so you can start looking at yourself and presenting yourself as the woman that God created you to be. I don't care how old you are, if you're 12 years old or if you're 60 years old. You are a beautiful woman, a beautiful young lady, and you need to show yourself as that expensive, beautiful young lady that you are. And consider when you go in the closet and when you get dressed, what is your purpose? Leave the sexy for that one man that is committed to you, not for the whole world to see, because that's a cheap price. You're just letting yourself be exposed for nothing in exchange. So men can look at you and imagine things and have a good old time, eat sometimes even without touching you. So you know what? It's time to start putting things in perspective and recognizing who God created you to be and reflecting that outwardly with your clothes. So, some of you might have to do a little bit of closet cleaning. And another thing, I saw this YouTube video, and I can't remember, but you could probably look for it because the title of the clip is Leggings Are Not Pants. And I loved the way this girl communicates this, and I think it'll be easy for you to search if you search for this. But it's so true. Leggings are not pants. I don't care how fit and how tight you are. They're not pants. You don't look good. Sorry, but you don't. Leggings are an accessory. I think, if you're going to use leggings as pants, next thing you know, somebody's just going to use a necklace as a blouse. I mean, it's not It's not appropriate and it doesn't look good. Leggings are an accessory to go under that skirt. You know, my daughters have some short skirts, especially as they're growing. Their skirts get a little bit shorter. So I encourage / demand that they put leggings underneath those skirts, or a long, flowy blouse. Then leggings will be appropriate. But they're not pants. They're not to be used with short shirts. They're not to be used with tight tops. They're to be an accessory, and to help actually dress more appropriately. So the leggings can actually be a big help if you use them correctly. So I just wanted to communicate this to you. It's amazing how one little compliment from a young lady causes me to go into this rant. But I think it needs to be spoken about a lot more, because you go out and it saddens me. It saddens me to see how young ladies and how women, just the way you dress, you might as well just put a sign over your neck and say, hey, I'm cheap. You know, I don't respect myself. And, you know, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you consider what I'm saying a little bit strong, but the way it's how you dress, it's like, or some of you, not you, but some of you, some people dress out there, it's strong. It's hard to see. It's hard to imagine how you know, what's going on inside of your heart, that it's okay for you to dress like this. So I hope this is helpful. And, you know, of course, the Lord loves you, and it's not to bring guilt and condemnation. This is to help you make an informed decision the next time you get dressed. And that information is that you are beautiful, you are amazing, but you also cost a lot. You know, and last thing that I'm remembering with putting a price to yourself, when I was dating my husband and going through the engagement process with my husband, I lived alone in my apartment. And one way that I reflected my price wasn't only the way that I dressed, but also when he would come and pick me up, I was all alone in my apartment. This was my apartment. I could do whatever I want. Yet I knew that in that apartment, there were other people watching. And, you know, there was some shady activity going on around in that apartment, in those apartment complex. And I remember I needed to show people and who I was, which was a child of God. So every time he would come knocking on the door, the very first time he was shocked that I did that, I opened the door and I put my hand out like this. And you know, you're not coming in, you're going to have to wait for me outside right in front of the door where everybody can see him. So every time he came to pick me up for a date or to go to church or whatever it was, he never, ever, ever stepped into that apartment until after we were married. Ever. And I think he came in for like a second because I was packing and we were going to move into our own apartment together after we were married. But he never walked into that apartment. He always waited outside. And the very first time, you know, he had this shock, like, okay. But he tells me now that actually caused him to respect me a lot more, because I was putting a price on myself. So, you know what? If you want to be around me, you're going to have to pay a heavy price. I'm not cheap. And I'm not talking about material things. I hope you're getting the message of what I'm talking about. So anyways, until next time, thanks for listening to me. I know that this got kind of long, but this was important. So God bless everybody.